On the Shoemanifesto channel, I show you every step in my unique process of making prototype shoes from scratch. That includes making my own last, my own patterns, doing all my own sewing, and even technical design. But all of it begins with an original design concept. That's today, where in this video I'll be discussing and completing the concept sketch. Hi, welcome back to Shoemanifesto and to a new Handmade Shoes project series. Hard work and diligence are essential to success, but they require an internal motivation. That internal motivation is called vision. Shoemanifesto's vision is to take an original design concept and then craft a prototype pair of shoes from that. The goal for this first step in the process is to refine down all of the different ideas that I have for any particular design. Of course, ideas will change and I'm always open to inspiration, but the clearer the vision now, the more efficient I will be throughout the project. In just a moment, we're going to use the Lightbox and dry erase to discuss ideas on things like color and construction and material, and I'll end out this video with a freehand pencil sketch. For this series, I'll be making a pair of strappy boots. Remember in the very first series, I talked about where design ideas can come from and ways of being inspired? This is one of those looks where I actually combined several different ideas, and that has evolved over several iterations. So this design is an evolution, meaning that several ideas have been combined and edited down and are continuously being refined. All of that speaks to what is a critical tenet of my design aesthetic, not over-designing. Unlike the previous project, there isn't a story or narrative for this design per se. Again, it's just an exercise in evolution and refinement. A part of that is ensuring that there is symmetry and balance between the silhouette and the materials that I choose. An elegant shape can be muted by the wrong materials, and great materials can look awkward on the wrong shape. Upper materials can also be used incorrectly or excessively. I believe that less can be more. You'll see that in this design. I want to use the right material in the right proportion on the right silhouette to achieve good visual balance. This will be a mid-calf tall boot with leather cords on both the lateral and the medial sides, as well as a center back zipper. We'll get much more into those kinds of details in the tech back video. This is a look all about contrast, about positive versus negative space, with a simple black and white color story, but all done very thoughtfully and elegantly. So let's sketch it out real quick on the Lightbox, and as I go, I'll break down all of the design elements and discuss them. Here we are again at the Lightbox. The silhouette is a strappy mid-calf boot. These shoes will be cement construction. Single sole, closed, elongated shape toe box. Heel height is 110 millimeters. These boots will be made up of 13 separate upper pieces each, and those pieces will be laced together by a black leather cording. And there will also be a center back zipper closure. Each of those 13 upper pieces will have these, let's call them notches. As a part of that minimalist, less is more strategy, those notches will be folded back on themselves to create the eyelets for the leather cording, and that in turn will hold all of them together. By reducing the amount of upper material and using it more creatively, meaning using the upper piece itself as an eyelet versus a separate loop or a ring, the look will be simplified and cleaner. That also creates negative space while adding visual interest. All of the upper pieces will have an interfacing backing material and lots of top-line tape. Of course, I'll also make the stiffeners, but the shape and the placement of the stiffeners will be tricky. The notches will make it tough to create the toe puff of the vamp. The colorway is a black and white python print PU leather, so it will be visually striking. With such a bold material, I have to tone down the rest of the design. I'm just using black and white colors, but I'm going to amplify that even more by inversing the color at the toe box, which will be all black. There's a pop of color of silver, which will be just another piece of leather here. That will have the effect of something like a metallic label. I'm thinking about using silver snap rivets too, which would really sell that effect. I think this colorway is right at the limit. If I went crazy with color, as I sometimes do, it could easily become too much. Insole bindings and the sock linings are areas that I never want to say too early what I'll use to cover them, because those are an easy place to use interesting material, so I like to leave space for that and see what develops. The outsoles will be a natural finish leather with a burnished edge, just like the last project, dyed black and polished, and then cemented on. The heels themselves will be covered with material A, the black and white python PU leather. For the last on this project, I'm going to use an elongated toe shape, not quite pointy. I'll again be splitting these lasts, and I'll also have to create separate shanks for the legs. So this will be a 3-piece last. I've been looking at vintage boot lasts to get ideas on how to split them. Most of those use a sort of wedge technique. I did finally come up with an idea that I think will work. You'll have to check out the last making video in a few weeks for that. Final review. Strappy mid-calf boot, symmetrical, 110mm heel height, wedge angle 35 degrees, single sole, elongated toe shape, black and white color story, side lacings with a center back zipper closure. Sounds easy enough, right? I think you can see that this will be a lot of work, but that's the nature of shoemaking. The more you look and decipher any design, the more you can see how much work will be involved to realize it. And that same editing eye combined with experience informs what is actually possible to accomplish. And the sequence. We talked about that. This is going to be one of my toughest projects to date, I think. There is so much detail work, but again, I don't want the boots to appear overworked. I'll be looking for ways to preserve the elegance and the airiness of this look. I love this brainstorming part of the process. Have you ever watched any of the fashion competition shows and seen when the contestants enter the fabric stores? You can tell who has a solid core idea and those who don't, because they look like they're drowning in thoughts. The ones who have a solid direction in silhouette and material and color, they're the most effective and then finally successful. That starts with a sketch. I'm going to leave you with a montage of me taking all of these ideas and making a pencil sketch for this project. In the next video of this series, I'll be getting more into the artwork side of this project with a marker and colored pencil sketch, and then I'll do a full computer rendering with Adobe Illustrator. This is our third project filmed and presented here on YouTube, but on the Shoemanifesto Instagram and Facebook pages, there are 10 past completed projects. Please be sure to go over and check those out. And as always, that's where you can see progress updates. So the call to action for this video is to find beauty in contrast, much like this project, and appreciate the gifts and dreams in your life. If you're like me, then those dreams have always been, in a way, sustaining. I'm so thankful for the experiences that I've had in this life, good and bad, planned or unplanned. And I'm especially grateful that now I get to share my work with all of you. Never give up on your dream. See you in the next one.